Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It's Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Allard, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, joined, as I am each and every week, by the great, the wonderful, the masterful, the all things digital online marketing, Dawn Dansler.
Hey, Eric. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
All right. So, folks, jump in and join us. We are here. It is Tilson Live. It's 2 o'clock. It's Tuesday. We are live on Facebook, live on YouTube, maybe on Vimeo. Who knows? There's no telling where else. We're probably on the dark web. We're probably out there on the dark web somewhere.
Hope not.
We hope not. But it's possible. We don't know because we don't go there. We don't go. So anyway, we are here. We are here to talk about all things building a home on your land, predominantly in Texas, but we know people join us from all over the country, in some cases all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
But Tilson Homes is a fourth generation family owned and operated home builder. We build predominantly in rural areas of Texas. About 91% of what we build is outside of an incorporated city. We do build in cities, and we do build in, obviously, deed restricted subdivisions, acreage communities, all over the great, beautiful state of Texas, at least places that are close to gainful employment, like Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, San Antonio, Waco, Bryan College Station, and the greater Houston area. No offense to all of our good friends out in Lubbock and Amarillo and Dalhart and El Paso and Odessa Midland and the Rio Grande Valley. I'm sure there's great builders there too. We're just not one of them. So, folks, obviously we are here for you. We're here to answer your questions about building a home on your land. And if you're just thinking about doing this, or this is an idea that you're toying with, you are getting to that point in the summer where the kids have been in your house a little too long and you're running out of space, or the neighbors' kids have been at their house a little too long and they're playing basketball outside your master bedroom window.
And you're running out of patience.
Yeah. So this is the information you need. Why, Dawn? What in the world are we talking about today?
We are talking about the overview of building on your land. So this is actually, we do this show almost every week. This is our 150th episode, guys.
I forgot. It is the 150th.
So we decided to throw back to the one that started it all. So we're going to do the general built on your lot overview. So when you're letting us know where you're watching from, let us know if this is the first time you've tuned in, if it's the 150th time you've tuned in, so we can give you our apologies. But just let us know what stage of the process you're in, because this is going to be the actual presentation itself is going to be a lot more of the introductory kind of content to the whole concept of building on your land and who is Tilson and how do you do this thing, because most people are used to buying a used home or buying a home that's in a community that they just kind of, you show up and they do what they do and you say thank you.
Look what I did.
Ooh, look what you did.
Right. This is our 150th episode of Tilson Live. I spent hours preparing this part of the presentation, and by hours I mean updating the big app like just now. So anyway, yeah. Jump in, tell us where you're watching from, tell us where you're building, what part of the process you're in. Are you just thinking about doing this? Or are you already under contract? Are you, if you're narrowing down builders that you're thinking about? And again, look, this is to educate you. We're not here to sell you anything. We're just here to give you information because it is so very different building a home on your land versus buying a used home, like Don was saying. So we want to get your questions answered. We learned something new from you guys, when you chime in. So I know we are live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Jump in and tell us where you're watching from, where you are in the process, and we'd love to hear from each and every one of you. Let's see.
Yeah. We got Alekwa coming in from Austin.
Oh, cool. Welcome.
We've got Jennifer, who is underway in Micah.
Nice.
We have John coming in from Austin County.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
And she's also sharing that she is watching from Austin, building in Cedar Creek, Texas.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
We've got Michelle saying, hey there, watching from Canyon Lake.
Hi,
Beautiful,
Michelle.
beautiful place.
Yeah.
We have Elisa over on YouTube, howdy from Cowtown, building Magnolia B and Bridal Gate Ranch in Bandera County, hopefully breaking ground this fall. Awesome.
Yeah, we've got a lot going in Bridal Gate. So
we do.
Fort Worth down to Bandera.
Booming little place. We got Christy coming in from Suffolk, Virginia. That one I know how to pronounce. We've got Dawn coming in from Hallettsville, Texas.
Oh, Hallettsville.
Lisa is congratulating us on 150 episodes. She's been watching since July of 2022.
Whoa,
awesome. Wow.
And you're still
Thank
here.
you. And you keep coming back.
And you bought a house. Look at you. That's brilliant.
Let's see. We've got somebody joining us from Hawaii, going there August 14th and planning on stopping at your model home. Awesome.
Why?
Why are you leaving Hawaii? We got Skinny joining from Florida. Congrats on your 150th episode.
Hey, thanks, Skinny. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for watching.
We've got Ashley, first time watcher, own land in Weatherford. Awesome.
Beautiful. This is the one for you, Ashley. Thank you for tuning in. This will be great.
We've got Savannah, who's joining us from Victoria, Texas.
Two beautiful names, Savannah, Victoria. Hey.
Yeah. We got Dawn, Hallettsville, Texas, built 2 Tilson homes. Oh, wonderful.
Yep,
thank you.
That's right.
We've got John. It is his second time tuning in, watching from LaGrange in Fayette County, still in the middle of clearing out our heavily wooded lot.
Pretty area, though.
Yeah, very nice. We've got Stella. Hi, it's Tina from Taylor Building in Bastrop. Awesome.
Tina from Taylor. We did the alliteration game. She remembers.
We've got Tim from Santa Clarita, California. We'll be seeing the Fredericksburg and Katy next week.
Oh, it's worth a trip, man. It's had a nice, beautiful facelift. It looks great.
Yes. We've got Cindy watching from Allen, Texas.
Okay.
And we got Will from Klondike. Hey, Will.
Howdy, Will.
We've got Eric, who is looking for property in Decatur, Texas.
Beautiful Wise County.
We got Wendy saying congratulations on 150. Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy.
We've got Chandra. Final walkthrough on our Angelina at Richland Chambers Lake next week. Eli has been rock star getting us built. Tilson gets 5 stars from us so far. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. We've got Polly. Been in our Breckenridge for 3 weeks now. Tell me, is this real? I feel like I'm living a dream. Awesome. Glad you're loving it.
Yeah, we're so glad.
We've got Carolina. Hi from San Marcos.
Howdy, Carolina.
And we've got Christy coming in from Livingston.
All right. So lots of folks from all over the place. We've got all kinds of time zones. Thanks to the person in Hawaii. So you and Wendy can mix together. She did live in Hawaii for a while. She has obviously some pros and cons. But anyway, glad y'all are all here. We're going to get into the presentation because there's a lot of information to cover. But do ask your questions. Drop your questions into the chat. We will answer every single question. That's what we're here. We are transparent. We got nothing to hide. So that doesn't mean we know everything, but we know a lot about this particular subject, especially this particular subject on building on your land.
Yes.
We are a one-stop shop for all things building on your land. So,
and what we don't know, we'll find out and get back to you.
Oh yeah, no, we'll just make it up and get all right.
You're not supposed to tell them we make things up.
Oh no, this is the secret of life.
All right.
Well, Dawn, who are we anyway?
So this is just the why you should listen to us if you're the first time, why we know what we're talking about. So we are a 90 plus years of tradition building the most experienced rural home builder in Texas. We build exclusively on our customers' own land. So it's all we do. That's why we're the experts. The company was founded in 1932 and has been Texas family owned and operated for 4 generations. Eric is a member of the 4th generation of the Tilson family. We have built over 40,000 homes throughout the state of Texas, and on average, 10 families per week move into their new Tilson home. So we do a lot of this. Lots of dreams coming true, and we've done this a long time. So what exactly is built on your land, built on your lot? It means, yours is the operative word here. It is your lot, your land. Could be a farm or ranch. You could be looking at your retirement or second home site. Could be lake property. Wherever you have found this perfect piece of property that you want to get your choice of home built on your site. So that means you're bringing the land to us as part of the equation rather than us selling the land and the home together to you.
So there's some things we're going to cover today. This is an overview of what we intend to cover today. So if this is what you're interested in, stick around because you're going to get a lot of information. Obviously, we're going to define needs and budget. We're going to identify the site and acquire the deed. Even if you've already got the property, you're still going to have to identify where on the property the home's going to be. There's some pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages, different places on the property. Choose a builder. Again, we're not assuming that you've picked us already. You need some information to narrow it down to make the best decision for you and your family because it is a very expensive endeavor. It is a highly emotionally charged endeavor, certainly more so than buying a production home in a subdivision. I'm not just saying that. You fell in love with the land before you started picking a builder, most likely. So anyway, something to think about. Reviewing contracts, plans, and financing. Then after those first 4 boxes are checked, then we start talking about construction. And those first 4 boxes are the biggest differentiator between building on your land and production. So those are really, really, really important steps. Once you start construction, it is pretty similar to building into anything else. Pretty similar. It's not identical, but it's pretty similar. And then, of course, completion, closing, homeowner orientation, and then the warranty. It doesn't end there. So we're still around. Now, defining the needs in the budget, you got to figure out who's going to be using the house and what we're doing with the home, right? So it's more than just going and looking at a floor plan, but truly sit down with the folks who are going to be living in the home, or certainly the folks who are going to be making the mortgage note, or making the cash payments. And what are we going to be using the space for? What type of elevation do we like? And we'll explain what some of these terms mean in builder world. And what type of design are you into? Single story versus multi-story? Do you have any special requirements? Anybody living with you that has some accessibility or mobility issues? Or is there an architect control committee, homeowner association telling you what color your front door has to be, something like that? Those are considerations that must be put into the equation. What are you using the home for? Is it a vacation home? Is it going to be your primary residence? Are you going to be empty nesters? Is it investment property? So, and then who will be living there? Who will be using the home for? And then obviously a budget. You got to have a budgeted cost, whether that's payment or overall price. And of course, we can help with all of those things. Dawn, what do they do when they're planning it?
All right. So planning out your home, I mean, there's thousands of plans and ideas from all over the internet. So you can, bring in kind of your own ideas. We do suggest that you use our plan library, because looking at, all the websites and all the Pinterest and all of that, those are homes that are designed for all over the country. Not all of them are going to work well in Texas. So definitely take your inspiration from those plans, but don't get married to it. We encourage you to look at our plan library, because that is designed by our professional team of draftsmen, for the way that Tilson builds for the Texas climate. And we've also got a lot of pre-designed structural changes in there. Like, we've looked at what are the most common things that our customers like to change about the homes and have added those in. But if that's not enough for you, we do have additional customizations that you can make. This is going to be your home, so we want you to build it the way that you want it to be. And then with us, you're going to see upfront contract prices. So when you're in our office, we're going to price that home right out for you, and that's going to guarantee you the best value. So whatever builder you're working with, kind of find out how they do their pricing. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about a floor plan. This is showing the first story, so the first floor. So just kind of showing you, this is, I believe it's our Abilene plan. And so it's just showing kind of, this is, you're seeing that first floor. There is a second floor in this one, because you can see that staircase next to the master bedroom back there. So this is the second floor. When you're looking at it in the office, we're going to include the outline of the floor underneath, so you can understand exactly where the rooms on the second floor are overlaying on the first floor.
Very important when you start trying to make changes to a plan.
Yes. And this is why, when we talk about, like, in the case of this one, you'll see that bonus room is right over that family room. So if you wanted to have a cathedral ceiling in the family room, you probably can't have that bonus room. So it's keeping in mind things like that, because what you do on the first floor affects the second floor. Or
you would have to be very, very athletic in the game room. One of the two.
Or short.
Also, you have to be short and athletic. Yeah.
Short and athletic. Yeah. Army crawl, something. This isn't what we're talking about with an elevation. So an elevation just means you're looking at one single side of a home. So it's the exterior one viewpoint. So this is the front elevation. This style is a line drawing. It's what you're going to see when you're looking at plans. We also do have photorealistic renderings as well. But this is the front of that house that we were showing you. And then on our website, you can go ahead. I talked about those pre-designed custom options. This is where you can check a bunch of those out. Not all of them are going to be available on the website, just for programming limitations. Sometimes when you go to combine things, they won't combine online, but we can definitely do it in the final home.
We're so flexible, we can break the internet.
We can break the internet, yes. So you can just go through and pick what you want to change about it. So again, all of this is that same plan. This is the Abilene A. And so as you change things, you'll see that they appear red. You'll hear people in the industry talk about, in home building, we'll talk about the red line floor plans. This is what we mean. Anytime you change something, we draw it in red so that we know exactly how it's different from the standard layouts. So the options that you're going to have with that is typically we're always going to have alternates on the kitchen and the bathrooms. You have the ability to add extra closets, bump out a room, add an outdoor living space, lots of changes that you can make to the exterior, move the walls around. And if you still need to do even more things, we can help you out with that.
We can. Now, you want to pause for questions? We got a couple that came through.
Yeah, let's pause for questions.
Okay, folks, drop your questions in the chat. We're answering every single one of them. We're going to do that a little bit right now.
All right. So we got Will. He's actually saying goodbye. Y'all have a blessed week. Just got up to say hi. Been down for a couple days.
Oh, man. Okay. I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, glad you're feeling better. Lisa Marie says, congratulations on your Waco location. Thank you.
More on that
Very excited. Yes. We've got Amy, who is watching from Charlotte, North Carolina, looking for our perfect piece of land in Blanco.
There we go. Well, there's beautiful land in Blanco, so we'll find it.
And Will says everybody's in good hands with Eric and Dawn. Oh, thank you. And he also mentioned Kelsey. Thank you. We've got Neil saying, been watching Tilson live for almost the past 4 years from Iraq and other deployed locations. We'll be home this week to sign a contract on Saturday for San Jacinto D in Hood County. Yay, it's happening.
It's happening. Neil is coming to town.
Thank you, Neil. So exciting. Congratulations. We got Carolina. I'm currently looking for land. Does Tilson build in Kingsbury, Texas, Guadalupe County, or Oland, Texas, Caldwell County?
And we have been building both those areas since probably the better part of the late 1960s, early 1970s. So we got a lot of experience in that part of Central Texas. Got an office very close by in San Marcos where we're building a brand new model, the Paladuro, and they'd love to sit down and visit with you. And they're subject matter experts in both those areas. What they require as far as permitting, septics, to make recommendations on site preparation. So they're set up to help you out there.
All right, perfect. And then we got Angela. Hello from Crandall, building in Buffalo. HVAC, rough plumbing, and electric is done. Danny has been a delight to work with.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And then we have John asking, do you have a price per square foot for our own plans?
Mr. Castaneda, you're setting us up for a future slide. We're coming at you with that slide. But the short answer is no. There's not a set price per square foot for just using your own set of plans. And I'm going to explain later why you don't want to do that way. You want it priced upfront, contract price, spoiler alert. That's what we're getting. But you want an upfront contract price based on your exact plan and the square footages and cabinets and countertops and plumbing fixtures and light fixtures and ceiling heights and exterior facade, stone, stucco, brick. Like those are all things that go into that. Do not let someone, I would steer you away from any builder who's quoting you just a X price per square foot is where we start, because they cannot possibly know what all you want inside that home. For one, the odds of them being correct on that number are almost incalculably low. Okay. It is calculable, but it's very low probability.
All right. We have a friend from YouTube asking how much should be budgeted for permits.
That is a great question. We'll talk a little bit about that, but the short answer is it really depends on where you're building. So if you are, some of these unincorporated counties, it's hundreds of dollars in most cases, and it's typically the septic permit. The building permits are typically inexpensive if they charge for them at all. Where most of the counties charge for the permits is the septic permit, the OSSF, on-site sewage facility. That's where, and those are usually a couple $100, $300, $400. If you're in a city, that could be very, very different. And we'll talk a bit about that too, but it could be thousands of dollars. But we have allowances set for those based on, again, our experience in a lot of these cities, whether it's San Antonio or Dallas or Fort Worth or, all over the state. I mean, all over the state, we've got different amounts budgeted. So it really, really depends. If you want to be more specific, we can probably check into it, but it depends on where.
All right. We got Jennifer Sharon. While our salesperson asked if we were good with windows, once the foundation was in, we realized we needed windows on the side of the house to take advantage of our 6 acres of view. We were able to add them and upgrade the AC size to match, and appreciate the advice and adjustments. Oh, that's great to hear.
We're able to be flexible. Yeah. That's good.
And then we've got Stella Nova asking if we build in Bastrop, Texas.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do. We got Christine celebrating their meeting with our building manager is Monday. A construction driveway never looked better than the one on my home site. Yes, this is the most beautiful driveway you'll ever see. We have Ernest asking, howdy, what's the price difference between stain polished concrete compared to tile?
It's just a little bit more than tile, not a whole lot. And a lot of it has to do with the protection. So we have to protect the floors, which we don't have to do with tile. With tile, they come at the very, very end, scrape it clean, and then lay down the tile. But with stained concrete, obviously it has to be stained and then protected. It has to be protected all through construction. And then depending on what part during construction we are able to line up the stained concrete contractor, we stain it, and then we have to protect it again. So right. It's a little bit more, but mainly it's from the labor standpoint and protecting it. So.
Okay. We got Dustin and Dana sharing that we just finished our build with y'all. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for trusting
us. Pictures.
Send us pictures.
Cheryl is asking, will you be talking about adding on to an existing septic?
I wasn't planning on it, but I certainly can talk about that. Yeah. So that's going to actually be typically up to a combination of the registered sanitarian. So there are licensed people that do that. They're licensed by the state of Texas, by TCEQ, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. And by the way, that's the other people it will kind of be up to, them in the county. So the TCEQ gives out kind of specifications like this many, gallons per day for this many people using a home based on this many bedrooms, based on the way this soil can percolate, how many gallons per day can it, like obviously it's a whole lot of sand, like out where Danny builds, Buffalo and to the east, real sandy soil. It's not really an issue. You start getting to an area where there's a lot of clay content. Well, humans have made pottery out of clay vessels for a long, long time for one reason, and that's because they hold water. So clay doesn't percolate as well. So it's going to, all of those things are going to factor in to whether or not you can add on to the septic. But in a lot of cases, we see that we can. There are not a few cases where it ends up actually being less expensive to just put a new system in than it is to add on to the existing system. So it really depends. It depends on the system itself. Is it a conventional system? Is it an aerobic system? Adding on to conventional systems is a little bit easier to do than adding on to aerobic systems, typically because the aerobic system is one large chunk of concrete or fiberglass with compartments inside it. So it's fixed in volume. Whereas conventional tanks are usually individual that flow from one to another. So anyway, it can be done. It really depends on the county, the soil, and what the registered sanitarian is able to do from a calculation standpoint based on TCEQ's guidelines.
Okay, makes sense. Savannah is asking, what is the process for a more customized layout?
Dawn, if only we had a video or some type of tutorial that could help with that.
Yes. So yeah, the process for a customized layout, and this is something we talk about all the time, and there's some content on the website about it as well. But you'd sit down with your consultant and we would draw out exactly what you wanted. So bring in your inspiration pictures, and we're literally going to draw out bring out a red pen and a roll of whiteout tape and start drawing. And they can sit down with you. All of our consultants are equipped to price out exactly what you're drawing. So adding in the square footage, adding in this many cabinets, this much, stone, whatever it is that you're looking to do, that's how we would do that within the design center. So pretty simple. We've got Christy asking, looking for land. What advice do you have for purchasing undeveloped land versus land with an existing structure? Considered one with structure for loan purposes, an existing septic and well.
All right. So you're hitting all the high points, Christy. You're doing your homework right. Mm-hmm. The obviously, the beauty of undeveloped land is you get to put your mark on it and only your mark on it. Like you get to decide, by and large, where the house is going to go, where the well can go, where the septic can go. Like you can do a true kind of almost like your own mini master plan, which that might be a little daunting for some people. Maybe I don't need to make all those decisions. I get, the paradox of choice locks me up. But anyway, that's a big advantage to that. And you can put the driveway exactly where you'd want it to be based on the views that you want. It's important to you and your family. Conversely, existing structure, particularly more and more in the hill country, but everywhere for sure to some degree, but particularly in the hill country, water and power are expensive, very expensive. So if property is, has an existing structure on it, the person who did that already kind of ate that cost. and they may or may not recoup all of it, but they're going to recoup some of it. You're not going to be paying the full price to get water and power, today's price to get water and power there. More importantly, you won't be paying today's timeframes.
Right.
Because today's timeframes on getting power and water to remote sites, particularly in the Texas Hill Country that is very rocky, can be very a lot longer than most people expect. It's getting better, but we're still hearing some water well contractors that are scheduled 4, 6, 8 months out to get the water well installed, and then power, because you're dealing with co-ops, with cooperatives. They're not gigantic companies. They don't have, they're fighting for the same personnel, the same physical hands that the whole construction industry is fighting for. So they're short-staffed, and getting utilities run, like getting land cleared, power poles set, and power lines run, transformers in and installed is it's a thing. So that would be the advantage to an already developed piece of property. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Jennifer shared it took them 10 to 11 months to get their well.
Yep, it's a real thing. So, if you can find a piece of property that has existing structure that either, let's say it's a trailer or mobile home that you can move out of there, or that it's something that, hey, I can, maybe we can do something with this as like a mother-in-law suite or storage or Airbnb or something, whatever, short-term rental, if the area allows that. That it might be good to work with. Septic's always going to be an iffy one on whether it's not just I'm not saying that you can't, but just because a septic is there does not mean you will be able to for sure automatically use it. And it's not up to us, and unfortunately, it's not up to you. It is up to the county. It's up to the either floodplain management or anyway, their OSSF, whoever does their on-site sewage facility permitting for that county. They will ultimately have the final say as to whether or not you can hook the new home up to that septic system. Another thing to think about when looking at that is the fall. So if the existing structure is a mobile home or a house on like pier and beam or something like that, it will be, as I'm doing this, it will be higher. Typically the house that we're building is going to be it's going to be on a slab. and so there might be some cost involved if you have to raise our slab or our dirt pad up to make the fall of that existing septic work. It may be cost prohibitive. It could be cheaper to just put a new system in. So all those things to think about, but make an appointment at your local design center.
Yeah.
Property you're looking for, and we'll be glad to give you the ins and outs, pros and cons.
One final thing to think about: if you are financing that land that you're buying that has a structure on it, make sure that the structure is not a requirement of that loan.
Bingo.
You want to make sure, because that's part of your, make sure it's not part of the collateral when they're setting up that's what the loan is, because if you want to remove it, you then have to go through a bunch of hoops with the bank to do that.
Just tell them your intentions, tell them what your intentions are, and are we cool? Are we copacetic? Like, all the cards on the table. There's no reason to hide anything. Be transparent.
And Meredith is agreeing. She's saying, yes, we finally have our on-site pre-construction meeting tomorrow. It's taken us a year to get the land titled, get water and electricity, and it was very expensive.
It will be worth it, Meredith. I
yes,
promise.
It absolutely will be worth that. We have Lisa Marie asking, are more French door options going to become available?
Well, I know we have just recently added the big sliding door, a couple of those options. So I think that might be what you.
Yeah, if you're referring to the exterior doors, we are doing.
I think we've exhausted all other French door options that are out there: double, single, 1 light, 2 light, 4 light, half light. I think the only thing left is the, gigantic sliding thing door unit. It's a unit.
Very nice. We've got Bob on Brazoria County, just purchased land looking for a farmhouse style house or with overhang porches. Awesome.
We can help you with that, Bob.
We can definitely help you with that. We have a very nice one that's actually called the Brazoria. So. Let's see. I agree with the absolute beauty of a freshly done construction drive from Lisa. Yes.
Me too. Special place in my heart.
Yes. Christy is asking, if I already have set my power poles and put my well in, what's the time frame to start building?
Well, it depends on the county that you're building in and how decisive you can be when making decisions about the stuff we're going to be getting to in a second presentation, which is selections. So, we have houses that start within 85, 90 days of when people do a contract. We have some people that it takes them 6 months because they make changes or they want to go back through design center, or sometimes it's where they're building. The county,
Right.
the subdivision, architecture control committee, POA takes forever, goes back and forth. So, I mean, for us, Christy, and we'll discuss how we do our business late, like as fast as possible is when
Right.
we want to get going. Like the way that our business works, the way that we self-finance the homes, it behooves us to get started as quickly as possible after the customer agrees to the price, because we don't get paid till the house is finished, completely finished. So we want to start. If I could do it next week, I would. That would be great. But realistically, you're looking at it at least 75 to 90 days, probably on average about 120 days.
Okay.
Part of that's permitting, engineering, design choices, stuff that we're going to talk about.
Okay. And then one last question, we'll go back into the presentation. Do you have any plans with porte-cochere? Have you ever done one before? Pros, cons?
We have done them. We've done a lot of them. So we don't just draw them on the plan. Typically, they're going to be where the garage would ordinarily go. I think the difference between a porte-cochere and a breezeway is the width of it. But basically, it's a big covered porch.
Right.
So yeah, we've done a bunch of them. Pros are they're beautiful. I mean, and we have a multi-purpose space, right? A garage is kind of a garage is a garage, but a porte-cochere, carport, whatever you want to call it, can be, slide the cars out of it, and you've got a 22 by 22 or 22 by 30 foot, covered porch that you can entertain on, all that kind of good stuff. So it's, cost wise, you're looking about the same as a garage would be anyway, because of the level of detail and finish work and Versalams, engineered wood product that has to be used to do those big open spans. So it's going to cost you about the same one way or the other. So really it comes down to look. Certainly the porte-cochere will be a lot more country look and there's a little more multi-purpose than perhaps a garage.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, let's go back into the presentation.
Let's go. Keep asking your questions. I know there's more questions in there. We will answer all of them.
All right. So kind of making this house your own, you're going to have lots of choices on the interior. The way that we handle this is every single one of our locations has the design center on site. So you're going to have a color room that you can go in where you can see all of our most common options and features. So you can see it all together. You can put your flooring with your cabinets and do all of your selections in one stop. So you're going to be able to pick out your molding, your cabinet style, the finish, the color. You can pick out all of your flooring. We've got, we've mentioned stained concrete, ceramic tile. We've got wood. We've got carpet. We've got luxury vinyl plank. Everything you can imagine we can do. You can do your countertop color, style. What material you want, how you want the edges, and they're just kind of showing some of the different finish levels and options that we have in those. And then on the outside, same thing. You can pick whatever kind of look that you want. This home is our Rockwell model in Melissa, showing a combination of stone, brick, and siding. And then we can also do, stucco and stone, like on the Magnolia and Katie. So you can combine all of those things. Board and batten. Somebody was asking about the farmhouse look. Here it is. So you can definitely, do that. And all the colors, choose your cedar accent color. This is kind of showing the rear elevation. One of our most popular treatments on the rear porches is this style with the cedar truss. This is our Barton Springs model in Georgetown, but just having that big extended rear porch with the cedar truss and the high cathedral ceiling that, continues on in the living room to kind of bring the two spaces together.
Location. Let's talk property location. First of all, is it going to be in an urban area, suburban, fringe, rural? The only reason that matters is going to have to do with the appraisal that'll come in. We'll talk about that here in a little bit on the financing side. So obviously you want to locate a deed. If you already have the property, try to find a copy of your deed. If not, we can help you find it. Most of the stuff is online these days. The county records can be obtained online. So that's kind of nice. Value of the surrounding homes. Again, we'll talk about the appraisal here after a while. Surface terrain and topography. These are considerations to make. Obviously, a survey of the land. We'll show you an example here in a second that notes the flood zone. The footprint of the home. And we'll show you in a minute where, just because your land might be 150 feet wide, that does not necessarily mean you can build on all 150 feet of the width, depending on some type of building lines or setbacks or different things like that. And then lastly, but certainly not least, title insurance. Always, always, always get title insurance. Close at a title company when you are buying land.
Or even if someone's giving it to you as a present.
Even if you're getting it, from me, mom, papa, and no matter what, like do it through a title company, you will be glad you did. Mm-hmm. Example of a survey here. So again, this is actually our lot in Texas Grand Ranch up in Walker County, Texas, outside of New Waverly. What you're kind of seeing here is, so this is a survey, an actual survey. So you have the stamp, right? You've got the name of the surveyor. They are RPLS. It is licensed by Registered Professional Land Surveyor. How's the orientation? So north is this way, but we have a 2-acre lot here. Okay. But what it's telling you is these little inside, the solid black line is our property. We own this. Okay. So this would be the lot that you buy. You own all 2 acres of it. You will pay taxes on all 2 acres of it, all the things. The little dotted lines you see are various building lines, utility easements, things like that. So for instance, the front of it is a 75-foot build line. Why would they do that? Well, they want it. This is a deed restricted subdivision. So it's not your run-of-the-mill production master plan subdivision. Right? You're not going to be on top of your neighbor. Mm-hmm. But they realize that the whole reason people are moving away from that is to have a little space. So you have a 20-foot build line on either side of you. Your neighbor also has a 20-foot build line inside. So for instance, the closest your houses could ever be to each other is 40 feet.
Right.
Because that's why you're moving out there, to not be on top of your neighbor. So that's why these building lines are there. 75 foot. They want everybody kind of back off the road, and they want everybody to be somewhat uniform in that, right? Like it would not look good to have one house 25 feet, the next house next door 100 feet, the next one 25, the next one 70. Like it would look jumbled. So that's the reason for these. But again, and we're only talking about permanent structure. Right, you can still do landscaping out here. You can run a fence, typically driveway. All that stuff can be done all over the property. We're talking house, garage, pool, outbuildings, things like that. Those are not allowed to be over the building line. Here's some things to consider when you are thinking about choosing a builder. There should be a discovery journey for you and whoever's in the decision-making process. But obviously, the quality of construction, the materials. Do they have models you can go tour? Do they have videos of their framing methods or explanations of why they do what they do? There's a lot of ways to comply with the code.
Right.
It'd be really important to understand why they're doing it a certain way. What type of financing plans do they have? What is the pricing methodology? How do they come up with the price, which we'll talk about for our good friend, Mr. Castaneda. Reputation and capacity. And I don't just mean, I've been around 92 years. I've never built a house in Midland, Texas. Okay. So like we wouldn't be a good choice for a build on your lot builder today in Midland, Texas, because we don't have any experience there. I don't have a trade base there. So similarly, how much experience does the builder you're talking to have in the area you're wanting to build? We've heard Blanco County, Bandera, these kind of areas. Like the person, do they have a reputation there? Do they have capacity there? Or are they sending a crew from, Bastrop over to Blanco to try and get the house built? Mm-hmm. Flexibility, will they do the things that you want done? You may have some very specific things you want done. Are they flexible enough to accommodate that? Do they have experience? And again, experience in that area. Trust and integrity, and I say this all the time. I don't care if you're buying a house, buying a car, doing your retirement planning with a financial advisor, whatever, sitting down with your kid's college counselor. If you don't trust the person that you're sitting across the table from, get up and leave, because it's not going to get better. There are only more decisions that have to be made, and it only gets more emotional and more expensive. Don't hang around hoping it's going to get better. And we'll go for, never mind, all kinds of things in life. But certainly builder. Certainly your builder.
Yes.
References. Don't hesitate to ask for references. That should be something they could readily produce, and let you call some folks who've gone through. You can go on our deal here and ask for references. They're here.
Yes.
They don't hide. They follow us.
And another thing to keep in mind, when we're talking about references, we're not necessarily talking about Google reviews or Yelp reviews, or anybody can put anything on the internet. Ask for actual customers who've been through the process.
Yeah, y'all may not know this, but competitors can go put reviews.
Yes.
As someone that they're not on your
And
site.
you could, make it a condition of your subcontractor's contract that they give you a 5-star Google review. Like there are lots of ways to game the system. So just be grain of salt with all internet reviews.
Good people of Bangladesh are very busy putting 5-star reviews for people.
Yes.
So, all right. Price per square foot. Mr. Castaneda, this is especially for you, but really for everyone, because I don't know when it is that we are trained in life to ask how much something costs per foot. And the reason I say that is because I've never asked how much a cheeseburger costs per pound. I've never asked how much a ribeye costs per ounce, although it is published on the packaging, I've noticed. I've never asked how much a Ford pickup costs per pound, or Mercedes-Benz for that matter. But for whatever reason, we are trained to ask how much a house, which is infinitely more complicated than any of those things I just mentioned, costs per square foot. And I get it. You know, counties are praised that way, and it is a simple method. Maybe that's why we're drawn to it, but it's deceiving, or it can be deceiving.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to talk about that for just a little bit. I want you to be educated when you're asking about pricing. Now you're going to blow your friends' minds at the next dinner party. People still do dinner parties. Is that a thing? Potluck?
Yeah.
Do we potluck? Okay.
Yeah, we're allowed to be together again.
Okay, fantastic. Well, yeah, some of us never subscribed. So we're going to do some math. It's going to be very simple math because I went to Harvard on the Brazos, as they say, in College Station, Texas. We keep our math real simple. So I have two buildings here. I have a 10 by 10 square, and I have a 50 by 2 foot rectangle. Both are the exact same square feet, right? Mm-hmm. So we know for a fact we got 100 square feet. Same. Now, we're going to do just one little exercise to prove, and this is called reducing it to the ridiculous, I know, but this proves a really powerful point. The perimeter. We're just going to talk perimeter. So how many lineal feet around in the 10 by 10 structure? I got 40. How many lineal feet around the rectangle? That's also 100 square feet. 104. Now, so without knowing anything else, I don't know countertops. I don't know plumbing fixtures. I don't know cabinets. I don't know ceiling height. I don't know floor coverings. I don't know exterior facade, brick, stone, stucco, hardy plank. What kind of roof we're talking about. I don't know any of those things, all of which have significant impacts on the price. I know for a fact that I'm going to have at least 2.5 times more material, labor, waste, man hours, all the things in the example on the right, even though they're both the same square footage. So they cannot possibly and should not cost the same price per square foot. So my warning to you, good people who've tuned in and made it to this far, if someone's telling you a price per square foot, they are quoting you this one, even if you only build this one. They have to, because if they just say, hey, we charge $175 a square foot across the board, that's what we charge. Okay, well, they now either they're charging you for this one in the building, or they're charging you this one, and they're going to hit you with.
Yeah, they're telling you it costs the other one
all along the way. Yeah, you're about to get hit up every month with, oh, by the way, oh, that's not included, oh, that's not included. So these are again, little simple exercise. 2.5 times just in the perimeter, and it's going to be infinitely different. So do not get hung up on price per square foot. You'll drive yourself crazy. And oh, by the way, we don't all use the same square foot when we divide it out. Sometimes I'm using living area here. Some builders will use total slab area, which is living area, covered porches, garages, all of it combined, which yields a lower price per square foot, even though it's not. So what do we do? Well, there's cost plus, which is a very fair way to do it. That's typically reserved for higher end custom homes, right? $1.5 million, $2 million and up. And it's truly you and the contractor sit down and you agree on that you're going to pay the cost of whatever it is, plus a certain percentage that's their fee or profit on top of that. And you typically have to approve every invoice, every bid, and it doesn't matter how long it takes or what it costs. Builder doesn't care, because guess what? You've already given him, you've agreed on, you're going to pay him whatever, 15, 18, 22% on top of whatever the cost is. So it doesn't matter. But It's reserved for those kind of homes, those kind of builds that the customer comes in and sees a whole wall of stone and is like, I don't like it, rip it all out. Builder's like, no problem, rip it out. Cost plus. So not for the faint of heart, not for the inexperienced, not a great way to build a home on your land with some type of budget in mind. You can also have cost overruns or allowances, which is basically just a base price, and then it's anything over that, you pay it. Now, you don't know what that is, of course, because you don't do this for a living. So, like, for instance, they may say you have a $5,000 countertop allowance, and $5,000 is a lot of money, but not when you're buying a house full of countertops. It's not. So you don't really have a way of knowing how far that will go. Not a good way to do that. because you end up having a lot more extras than you thought you were going to have. The way we do it is a true fixed price or upfront contract price. So the total price of your home is set before you agree to it. We agree to it. You sign a full set of plans. You sign an options. And it's got every single tile color, grout color, light switch color, doorknob, that you're going to pick all of it out and know exactly what you're spending before we ever send it to construction. That way, no one is unclear about what the scope of work, what's included, which is the safest way to do it, most transparent way to do it, and actually least stressful way to do it. Now, before we ever start construction, again, we're gonna sign plans. You're gonna sign the plans. You're gonna pick all your options. You're gonna review all your colors. And the reason is, like, why do I have to pick my cabinets 5 months before they're gonna be going in? Things have lead times. If we didn't learn anything else the last 2 years, we've learned that things can take a long time. So we want to have those things locked in. It doesn't mean that something couldn't still get discontinued. That still happens, but it's a lot less likely if we can go to our suppliers and say, hey, we're going to have 7 houses of this type of cabinet, 22 houses of this type of cabinet, 14 houses with this appliance, and kind of reserve a block of those things and say, this is what we're coming to the table with in the coming, 60, 90, 120, 180 days. And so they know how much they should be ordering and all those things. It just makes it a lot smoother process. And you're not having to run all over town, at the 11th hour when we're like, oh, the sheetrock's in. We totally forgot to tell you, go put some cabinets out. So quick, go. And they're going to tell you it's an 8-week lead time on cabinets. So now the house sits for 2 months and nothing's happening and nobody's
right.
So don't do that. Dawn, how do we pay for this?
So there's generally 3 ways that you can pay for a home on your own land. If you are the grown-up I aspire to be, you would pay cash. I aspire to be that when I grow up. If you are not fortunate enough to do that, you're either going to get a construction loan to pay for the project while it's under construction, or you're going to go with Tilson and use our EasyBuy program, which doesn't require that construction.
Now, I know I hate to do this and break your chi, but should we go answer some questions?
We probably should.
Okay, so guys, we're gonna answer your questions.
That's what we call a teaser. So we'll talk more about that when we come back. Yeah, stay tuned. All right, so we've got Annette. We just signed our final plans for an Abilene D building here in San Antonio.
Awesome.
Stakeout is done. We're just trying to knock out our responsibilities list. Awesome. Gary is asking, does land need to be paid off before home construction begins?
Dawn, what's the answer?
We are going to go much deeper into that, but no, it does not. What we are looking for with us is that you have 10% equity in the total value of your home plus the land. And as long as you have already paid in that much, you're going to have no additional down payment with us, and you will just continue to pay on your land lien as you go through construction, and then at the end, it's going to be rolled into your final mortgage. So you do not need to completely pay it off. Skinny is saying, I noticed on the site when I select the options I want, some get deselected. Example, if I select the garage and try to select the upstairs room, the garage gets deselected. Is that a site limitation? In that case, it probably is. So what's probably happening is the actual garage is redrawn in a different way when you build it on site. So that's just something to talk to your consultant about. I don't know any situation where we can't add a garage when we have a bonus room. The only ones that you probably are not system limitations and are actual is that what we were talking about before with the bonus room, if it's over that family room. And so if you had picked the family room cathedral ceiling and there's a bonus room above it, that is in truth something we can't do. But most of these types of things, if garages disappear, bonus rooms disappear, that kind of stuff, it's just that they have not programmed all of that into the online functionality, but it is something we can do. And we have a friend from YouTube saying, I have a VA loan approved, rather get a house built to my specification on 1 to 5 acres. Will my loan cover the land purchase as well? Would like to talk to you guys on how to proceed.
So the answer is yes, we can do that. It's not the EasyBuy program, but we do have a program with a vendor of ours that can finance your land and the house on it will be a construction loan, but it is a VA one-time close construction loan that includes the land, and we can do that.
Okay, awesome. And so we're being asked, what's the average price for the all-weather access road during construction?
Okay, that is going to vary quite widely around the state. And I know I keep saying that's twice you've asked a question. I've had to say how much it varies across the state, but it really does. Anything that involves hauling, diesel, right? Dump trucks, concrete, like that it's expensive because the rock has to come from somewhere. Whether it's crushed concrete or crushed limestone or whatever the road base that you're using is, you got to get it from somewhere and you got to get it out to your property and you got to get it laid with a tractor, skid steer, dozer, something. I mean, average, man, I'd budget at least $20 to $30 a lineal foot, and that'd be for like a 12-foot wide, 4-inch thick, good, well done, correctly done, all weather access. And thank you for using the phrase all weather access. That's what a construction drive really ought to be. I can drive anywhere right now in Texas because it hadn't rained in a month, like no factor. That will change. Hopefully that will change and it will rain again. It will rain again. And that's when it gets dicey, because we're talking about concrete trucks, dump trucks, lumber trucks, heavy machinery, not a pickup truck, not, a Honda. We're talking about heavy equipment. So I'd budget. I think I've seen it maybe as low as 17. That's been a while. But I would somewhere between 20 to $30 a lineal foot. So that's kind of what you're looking at.
Okay. Michelle is asking, would you suggest we go through some kind of pre-approval process with a lender before we even start planning the house so we can more accurately know what we would be able to afford?
You can, Michelle. All of our locations should be able to at least run a kind of high-level pre-approval with you based on your income if you are W-2. Now, if you're self-employed, for sure, you need to go to a lender because of the way self-employed, people, they write off a lot of things for a reason. So, but if you're a W-2, you and your husband or partner are W-2 employees, then most of our locations can do that. But if you're more comfortable getting pre-approved, we'd be happy to hook you up with one of our lending partners that would gladly do that. It's usually less than 48 hours, and you have a really solid concrete way of knowing. So, okay.
All right. Another question from YouTube. What's included in the high-end pricing of the floor plans? For example, if a bonus room is wanted, is that included in the high end of the range? So I think you're talking about the pricing on our website.
Great question.
That is a really good question. So what that range that's being shown is the difference in the exterior elevation. So it's always the base layout of the plan. It's just the difference in those 1 to 5 exterior looks that you see. So whether you're getting the all brick versus the rock and the stone and siding kind of thing. So that's what that range is. It is the base floor plan across the different elevations. So it is not including when you're adding in square footage and rooms and things like that. But if you call our new home specialist team or go see one of our consultants, they can give you the exact price for all of those changes. Skinny is asking, do you guys recommend installing a rainwater collection system? I will be living in Texas, Houston, Texas specifically. Does it rain there often enough for it to be a good investment?
Yeah, you don't need to do rainwater collection in Houston. There's some areas where it makes sense, but it's in north central Texas and to the west of there, west central Texas. Anywhere around the greater Houston area, I mean, you get 50 inches of rain a year. It rains about 1 inch a week on average. Now, not this time of year, but other times of year, it rains 4. Sometimes it rains 17 in 2 days. Like, that can happen. So, no, I mean, I think if I remember right, you're from the Florida area. The climate in Houston is pretty similar to the climate in Orlando.
Yeah.
Miserable. That's the climate.
Hot and humid and yuck.
And rich with employment. Lots and lots of jobs.
Yes.
That's what we have to offer you.
Cheryl is asking, I have horses and cattle on the property. Can you talk about your approach to ensuring roofing nails, construction materials, etc., are cleaned up and accounted for? Do you install tent plastic fencing around the build site?
Great question, Cheryl. And so the initial answer is we do ask you to fence them out. For sure, for construction. That's really important. I don't know how close you're going to want them even after you're done. Cows and horses, as you probably know better than anybody, they like to chew on things like AC units and copper lines that go in and plumbing lines that come out and hose bibs. And they like to rub up against stone and brick posts because it feels real good on their itchy skin, and they can knock those things off. So my personal advice, having cattle running around where I live, I don't ever want them inside of at least a 25 or 30 foot perimeter around my home, because they'll tear stuff up. They will step on things. Everything you think they won't, they will. So long term, I recommend some type of fencing solution, whether it's electric fence or something. Do something, but we do ask you to have them fenced out for construction. And we're very accustomed to working on rural property. We are as diligent as we can. I'm not going to sit here and tell you we get every single nail and piece of plastic picked up after the fact. That would not be true. I don't think that we do that. We didn't on mine, so I don't think that we can. And I had me a magnet, and my son and daughter spent a lot of time in the evenings rolling around with a magnet, doing the best you can. And we do obviously have a trash bin that's there. We can wrap plastic around that trash bin to keep stuff from blowing out. A big norther comes through or a big strong south wind, and stuff's still going to blow. Even if it's a dumpster, stuff will blow out of a dumpster. So we just try to be as diligent as we can about getting all the stuff in the collection bin and getting that cleaned out. But long term, I just recommend that you keep them fenced out. Not just because there's trash everywhere, but because they can do real damage to your home.
Yeah,
and them, they can hurt themselves. So you don't want that.
All right.
There are some cows that I want to hurt, but not all of them.
Okay. As she's asking if we can explain the ways to pay, please explain the difference between the construction loan and the Tilson EasyBuy. We will get to that as soon as Eric gets his slides back up.
I'm
looking at a black screen, so I can't. Your slideshow ended in what I can see. So we'll go to the next question while he fixes that. If I understood you correctly, if I want a custom home, we can sit down with a design team to create this, and pricing will be provided. Is this done before we decide to go with you, or only after we commit and sign a contract with your company?
This is after you and I do a house swap, and I'm in Hawaii and you stay here. That's when we do this.
So the way that's going to work, if you're looking at a completely custom plan or you have your own set of plans, is the consultant's going to sit down with you. They're going to find the plan that we've already designed that is the closest, and then they're going to start making changes to it so that they can get you kind of a ballpark price. So if you're something that's just similar in style and in square footage, and they'll start adding rooms and moving rooms around and repricing that way to give you the ballpark. If you're comfortable with that pricing, we'll send it off to drafting to get you the final price. But yes, you are going to agree to that price before you sign a contract with us. We're not going to ask you to sign a contract with us not knowing what the price is going to be. So that is all done before you sign an agreement with us. And there's no charge for that service either. We're not going to charge you a design fee to figure that plan out. And then I see we've got 3 more, so I'm going to go ahead and answer them, and then we'll get into the financing. What about building in an inclined property? Is, if possible, what extra cost is incurred with this?
Brandy, there's no way to know for sure. I mean, we allow different out of levels or different, inclines, if you will, using your language, based on the county. Because obviously we're not going to include as much excavation work, prep work, and all that in Aransas County as we do in Llano County, because it's not the same. So hold on, I'm allergic to questions.
Bless you.
One and done. So the it's going to vary. I know in the hill country especially, we do have some pricing done based on every 6 inches of slope. So 18 inches, 24 inches, 30 inches. I can't add 6. I can't count by 6s. We're starting from 0. Anyway, so that's the. It does vary, but we can get pretty dialed in. Plus, before we ever start construction, we are going to do obviously grade shots. We'll know the exact data level. The foundation will be bid to that. So we'll know that before we ever go into construction. We can give you a pretty good idea when we get more specific on getting the grade shots.
Okay. Christy is asking, do we need to do the construction drive all the way from the road? Our house will be about 3 acres from the road.
I need it to be within 20 feet of the job site. Yep.
Jesus is asking, do all the houses have plywood? Referring to plywood before the water barrier on the before the hardy plank. So
yes. So you're saying plywood. We're going to say OSB, oriented strand board. We've kind of gotten away from CDX plywood, which is what but yeah, we do a 7/16 OSB sheathing all the way around our houses 100%, which is not required by code. unless you're in a windstorm area. But that's where our roots are. Our DNA is in the greater Houston area. So we've been playing with hurricane, we've been playing chase with hurricanes since we've started. They're not new. They're not an anomaly. They've been around longer than we have.
Brand new, never happened before.
It's the hottest day on record ever. There's a lot of records you have. So anyway, yes, we do full OSB wrap and then do the vapor barrier. Jesus done his homework. Then do the vapor barrier, then the hardy, and on about the business. Great, quick, good bracing. It's great for bracing. It also gets a much cleaner look on a hardy finish because you don't have waves of studs and that kind of stuff. So you couldn't see the waves in camera, but they were great waves.
They were perfect. They're perfect.
Yep.
And for our Hawaii friend who was asking about a custom plate, yes, definitely make an appointment to do that. You can call the phone number on our website. One of our new home specialists can arrange that appointment for you to make sure that someone has the time to sit down and price that out for you. Because I would hate for you to be limited in time, show up and have everybody already busy with another customer. All right, let's talk financing.
Let's do it.
Everybody keep asking your questions. We will answer them all.
Yep, we're not going anywhere. We don't schedule anything after this for this very reason.
Yeah.
So hang with us.
All right. So we talked about, cash, so construction loans. So to be clear, this is not the way that Tilson usually operates. We can do it in special circumstances, but this is not how we usually finance. But this is how literally everyone else who is going to build a home for you in Texas does this. So that's why we kind of want to explain, because for most people, this is new. So construction loan programs are used when a builder needs the customer to secure the money to pay for building a home. So they're asking you to take out a loan, and then that loan will be paid to the builder as construction progresses. So you're borrowing money from someone, and then that money is being paid to the builder. It is a short-term variable interest loan. Generally, it's going to be about 1% to 2% above the current mortgage rate. It is going to require significant hard equity, generally around 20% of the total project. They are designed to be 12 to 18 months in duration. Some of them have extended to 24, given what building timelines have looked like. And how that's going to work is the lender pays out the money to the builder as the house progresses, and interest is accruing on that money after it's been paid out. So as you get further along in the build and more money is paid, that interest gets higher and it's going to increase over time. Some loans, just depending on how it's structured, they're going to require you to make interest-only payments. So you'll be paying that interest payment during construction. Others are going to say there's no payments during construction, but that interest is accruing and they're going to roll that interest into your final mortgage, and then you'll pay interest on that interest. Is how that is going to work. So what we do that is different is we're not going to require you to get a construction loan. We have the financial resources that we can get our own money, don't require you to borrow any. So at no cost to you, we're going to cover the cost of construction. So that means no construction loan for you and the associated costs and fees with that. You're not going to have any monthly payments for during construction. No down payment for qualified buyers. Like I was talking about, if you already have 10% equity, we don't require 20, we require 10. So you wouldn't need to make any additional down payment. If you have that, lower equity requirement, you're going to have more money in your pocket because you're not paying all of this extra down payments or any of the interest payments. So you can, put it towards your construction drive or your septic system or, nicer cabinets, whatever you want to do with that. And then you'll also have the peace of mind of knowing that we're financially sound enough that we don't need you to borrow money for us to do our job. We can wait. We're waiting until the end of when the home is finished and you are moving in. That is when we get paid. So we are also very incentivized to get your home done as quickly as we possibly can. Keeping in mind, we also warranty all of our homes, so we're not going to sacrifice quality for it because we are in it with you for the long haul. We are the ones that are coming out to every call. So we are getting your home completed as quickly as possible to the proper standards. So with us, really what you want to talk about is your permanent financing. So when you come and you talk to us, we're going to be talking more about your permanent mortgage than your construction mortgage. And you have options there. Eric, if you want to talk about those.
Yeah. So FHA, VA, Texas Vet, those are government-backed programs. What you've got is, and again, the one exception I'd say on the construction loan side before on the equity requirement would be on a VA and an FHA. They can go higher. And on those cases, again, it would not be our EasyBuy program. It would need to be a different construction loan kind of program to achieve that. So you kind of trade, the benefits of one for the benefits of the other, right?
Right.
You don't have the interest accruing on the EasyBuy, but you do need to have a little bit more equity, not as much as you would for a full-on regular construction loan, but for a VA or FHA one-time close construction loan, you don't need to have as much equity. In fact, VA can do 100% financing, zero equity, but you are going to have interest on a construction loan. So it's whatever works best for you. Credit score requirements do vary, obviously. It is important to point out that every one that we do, if it's financed, it is not in-house financing, and that is a very good thing. You do not want in-house financing. In-house financing is much higher interest rates. It is backed by the full faith and credit of, the company backing it, as opposed to the U.S. government or mortgage-backed securities and things like that. You also don't have nearly the flexibility. Every single one that we do is a FHA, VA, tax vet, or conventional, which means it's a conforming loan. It's a regular old mortgage that can be sold on the secondary market. Conventional, like that's what you want. You don't want to be trapped into an in-house finance loan, owner finance, basically. You don't get good terms that way. But obviously, they conform to all the Fannie Mae guidelines that Federal National Mortgage Association. So that's your gross monthly income, your credit scores, documentation, all that kind of good stuff. We are going to actually, your lender is going to obtain an appraisal up front. So that goes back to that location. So they're gonna basically give a full set of plans and a map to an appraiser and say, go appraise this home as if it were built today and closed, what it would sell for. So they'll get comps from the area, comparable sales that have closed in the last 6 months. That's how they arrive at the price. It's not based on the cost necessarily. It's based on what other homes in the area have sold for. So something to keep in mind. The more rural you get, obviously, the further out they're going to have to go to get comps. And sometimes they can be tough to get comps, but they usually do get it done. And obviously, we make this process. This is where it gets really sticky if you don't use one of our preferred lenders. Again, there's no financial benefit to us. We don't have an affiliated business agreement with these folks. What we do have is 80% of our customers use them and have a great experience. The 20% of our customers that don't, they still have a pretty good experience, but the lending part, the closing part, the appraisal part, it's very difficult because it's so different. The way us doing the EasyBuy program and not requiring construction loan, it blows their mind. In fact, most outside lenders, when you tell them that Tilson doesn't require a construction loan, we're going to build the house out of our own pocket and not get paid till completion, they're going to tell you that you're high, they're going to want you to get checked out, or they're going to tell you that you misunderstood, and they don't possibly do that. So, but it really is true.
Yes.
It is true. After that, you're going to meet with your builder. So we obviously have a site meeting. We get utilities all talked about and hooked up and applied for. We can help you with that process, but you are integral in that process. You have to do the applications because it's your land. So if they're going to have to put an easement in or run poles or put transformers on your property, I can't give them permission to do that. You must do that. Obtain all the necessary permits, which we help you with. If there's an architect control committee or property owner association approval, we will assist you with that, but we do need their information. We might even need your help to grease the skids sometimes. They don't have to live with us, but they do have to live with you. So that helps. And then access to the site. We've talked about that a lot today. Get the land prepared. So there you can see a great construction drive, a pad, a beautiful pond. A little closer to the pond than I'm comfortable with in most cases, but I think it'll still work. Maybe it's deceiving with the drone, the fisheye drone.
Yeah, I think it's perspective.
Yeah, okay, that's the word. That's a good photography word.
All right, I know who took this, and he wouldn't have sent it to me as a good example. That's true, actually, if that was an issue.
So all systems go, and then we've been getting construction, and an hour and 9 minutes. Okay, we got more questions. We want to answer all your questions. Thank you for hanging with us. Let's go back to the questions.
And I know we went over all of that ending stuff very quickly, but as we mentioned at the get-go, this is our 150th episode. We do have separate episodes specifically about financing, about construction, about preparing your land. So all of those things that we kind of hit super high level. There's another hour somewhere else that goes into full detail, and we can point you in that direction.
There could be more than an hour on it.
Yes, some of them are more than an hour. But let's see. So we've got a few questions in there, and guys, keep putting in your questions if you have them. We will stay and answer all of them. We promise. So she's asking, I know most homes on a slab will have foundation problems. Do your homes have this soon after the home is built with the heat?
Man, I'm glad you asked this because I'm
Yes.
going to dispel this rumor real quick.
Mm-hmm.
They actually don't. Most of them do not.
Mm-hmm.
A very, very, very small percentage do. Very small. So, in now, that's based on our experience. We've been doing this almost 100 years. We do have a professional engineer both do the geotechnical investigation as well as the actual design of your foundation. So, as with all things in life, preparation's key,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, if you do your due diligence and your homework up front, you don't pay for the price later on. As the old saying goes, you're going to pay for your education one way or the other. We really prefer to pay for our education on the front end with some investigative work. So after the home is staked on your property where you want it to be, we have the envelope of the home where it's going to sit. We send an order to our geotech. They go out there with a rig or a mini excavator or something, and they will actually test the soil. So they take a sample or two samples, take it back to the laboratory in Austin, Texas, and they perform all these tests on it. How's it going to perform with excess moisture? How's it going to perform with lack of moisture? And they find out how the land is going to react to all the different things that the Texas elements could throw at it. They will design the foundation based on the results of that geotechnical. This is one of those things. If you got a builder telling you they charge an X flat per square foot, they're not going to come. They're going to put probably the least expensive foundation they can in there. We may come back to you after that point and be like, hey, based on the results of the soil test, to build exactly where you want it to be because of the plasticity index or highly expansiveness of that soil, it's going to be about an extra $3,200 to get the beam width the way they want to do it. They want to add another beam down the middle and to get it done right. Wouldn't you rather have it done right? So no, I would say most of our homes do not have foundation problems. In fact, microscopically few of them ever have foundation problems. And the good news is you got a 10-year warranty with us if something does happen to your foundation. So.
And then the other half of it is, maintenance. So a lot of the times when you are hearing about foundation issues, it's not something wasn't that you planted a tree too, they planted trees too close. So you have to respect, kind of treat that foundation with respect. When you're talking about the heat and it being very dry, you do actually need to water your house. Yeah. Because all of the plants around your house, trees around your house are going to be pulling moisture out of that soil, and if it's really damp underneath your house, that's where it's coming from. Yeah. So there are things that you need to do that we will talk you through at the time of your final walkthrough to guide you if this is how you need to maintain your home and protect that foundation. We've got Talon saying hello from the San Marcos location. Hey, Talon, how's it going? We got Carol asking, is there an option for using LP smart siding versus hardy?
We've not investigated that. That's actually the first request. So I don't know that there is. I need to double check with our construction team, with Justin and his crew, to see if that's something that we could do. So I can't say for sure if we can or not, but I have reasons why I wouldn't, but that's nothing against LP.
Okay. All right. We've got Gary asking Eric, will you be at the Katie seminar Saturday? We have several questions for you.
I will not, actually. I will not be there this Saturday. But I'm not that hard to get a hold of, but there's nothing you're probably going to ask me that the team there in Katy can't answer. There is an Eric there in Katy that's been here almost as long as I have. That could probably run this show just as easily as I could. And the entire team there can answer all of your questions. So, I know Kenya and Ashley and obviously Dylan there, they can answer your questions. So.
Okay. All right. Lisa is asking, can you tell me exactly when we need the T-pole in place? Meaning, can construction start on slab and framing while T-pole is being worked on with the co-op?
Okay. This is a great question, Lisa. Thanks for asking. We really need to have a solid time frame on when they're going to get it out there. Start on slab. Yeah. Those guys usually run around with some generators with them, because a lot of times they show too that they're cutting form boards, right? They're not needing to frame a whole house. So, and they can let boards, what's called run wild. So in other words, if it's an 18-foot run on one part of the house, they can have a 20-foot board, not cut it because they're just going to run another board to it. It's just going to hold concrete. Excuse me. I ran out of drinks. I ran out of all my stuff. You're smarter. You prepare. See the whole preparation thing, guys? I did that on purpose to prove out my point. So, I'm very reluctant to start framing a home without power. Not to say that we haven't done it. We have had cases where the customer agreed to pay for a generator for a certain amount of time. I just would really press on the co-op to find out what are we talking. But yeah, I mean, there's some things we can do, but we really need to have a solid, tight time frame on when they're going to have that power out there, particularly before we drop that. Because what we don't want is for the lumber to sit out there for a long time, longer than it should, get exposed to elements, all that kind of stuff. And anyway, that's it. It'd just be better. So
she's saying her barn is 100 feet away and has power.
The whole point is moot. We're good. If you don't mind having an extension cord running out of there or two, we're gonna be fine. Yeah.
Perfect.
100 feet is like close for us. That's nothing.
Yeah, that's probably the T-pole's probably going to be that far away. Jennifer's saying, I still like watching these because I learned something new or hear something I know to ask my consultant about later. Once they started the build, my husband and I have been amazed at the pace and everything going on. Awesome. That's great to hear.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for watching. That was a great way to. So last call for questions, guys. Dawn, what is happening? What's coming up in Waco?
So in Waco, we have our grand opening coming on. We are so excited. The models are complete. They are furnished. Landscaping is done, and they are ready for prime time. So we are having a huge celebration out there next Saturday, August 5th, which is hard to believe that it's August next week. But we would love to see you guys there. Both Eric and I will be there. We're doing a construction seminar starting at 11 o'clock. Nick Yates, the VP of construction for the area, is going to be giving that seminar. We're going to have a food truck out there from 12 to 2. We're going to have a radio station. So we're going to have giveaways, all type, bunch of the Tilson team members are going to be there. So we would love to see all of you guys out there come celebrate with us that we are fully operational in Waco. They are moving out of the trailer and they're in their offices. So just super excited. Hope you guys can join us.
Very awesome. Yeah. So guys, jump in there, join us in Waco, Texas. We'll be out there doing, like I said, seminars and meet and greets and door prizes and all the fun stuff. So
yes. Yeah, it's going to be great. We did have one more question come in from Steven. He's asking, if you still owe on your property, you will not have to pay on it until after you sign contract. Thanks. So you're still going to need to pay on your land lien. So whoever you are paying your land payments on currently, you will continue to pay those during construction, but you will not be paying Tilson anything for the construction of your home while construction is happening. When you get to the end of construction, they're going to roll whatever balance is on your property still left on that lien into your final mortgage. And so then you'll have one mortgage payment. But during construction, keep paying on your land loan.
Exactly. So the jury doesn't have to end here, folks. Obviously, we are grateful for each and every one of you watching. We are so happy you came here to get your questions answered. For those of you who are building or have built with us, thank you. Thank you. That means so much to our family, the whole Tilson family. You trusted us to be part of this journey, this vision that you have. So thank you for that. We have 12 locations that are open 7 days a week. We got a website that's open 24/7, new home specialists standing by to answer all your questions. We got staff sitting at every single location ready to draw or redline your plans with you, do your custom options, walk you through in a more granular way than we can here what it takes in the various counties for septic and culverts and access and permits and all that kind of good stuff. They have it down pat. So don't hesitate to talk to them. They're going to be there whether you're there or not. So you might as well go get your questions answered. Anyway, those are all the things. We got a Facebook page, we got an Instagram page, we have a YouTube channel that has all 150 of these on there, plus other very informative videos, custom home tours, customer testimonials, tours of all of our model homes. So anyway, all of that stuff is out there for y'all. It's there so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. We hope these things are helpful for you. We heard that they have been, so we're going to keep doing them. But the journey doesn't end here, folks. We hope that you get your questions answered, and we really hope soon to make you part of the Tilson family. We'll see y'all later on.
Bye, everybody.